Hello and welcome to class today. My name is Claire Thomas, and today we'll be going through a beginner Vinyasa's flow. So before we get started, if you've got a yoga mat, also the option to have some type of cushion here, or maybe a pillow, something that can support you. And then finally, I've got some yoga blocks. So if you've got some yoga blocks, go ahead and grab them. If not, sometimes even just the size and shape of a block, maybe a thick book you've got on your bookshelf, that can be helpful too. And once you've got all of those things assembled, we'll come and we'll start in an easy seated pose on our mat. So today's class is going to focus on the root chakra. So the chakras are a Sanskrit word for wheel. And we think of the chakras as these places in our body that move energy. From the base of our spine to the crown of our head, we've got 7 different chakras. And they're also there to help regulate our energy, spiritual energy, physical, mental, and emotional. So today we're going to focus on our root chakra, which is all the way at the base of our spine. So as you're seated here in this easy seated pose, maybe you've got your ankles gently crossed in front of you. Option if you've got that cushion or pillow, or maybe a folded blanket to sit up on it to elevate your hips. Sometimes if your hips are tight, you might want to elevate. And then when we think root chakra, we think grounding, right? The roots of a tree grow into the earth, and it's the depth and strength of those roots that allow the tree or plant to grow up tall and strong. So as we're seated here, I want you to really notice that area of your body that's connected to the earth, whether it's your mat, whether it's the grass outside or a cushion. Notice that connection. Feel that exchange of energy there as the weight of your body is pressing down and the earth below you is pressing up. You are supported. And once we're really grounding through our root chakra here, then we'll sit up tall, lengthen through your vertebrae, lengthen through your neck. And then we'll relax our shoulders down. Soften your jaw, relax your face. Maybe you close your eyes and gently rest your hands near your knees. Once we've found that intentional shape with our bodies, we can now draw our attention and our focus inward. Today, we're going to focus on our breath. So take these next several moments and notice your breath. Notice the sensation of your lungs expanding as you draw your inhale in through your nose. And then let your exhale also come out of your nose. We are just watching, admiring and noticing our normal breath. We're not trying to manipulate or change anything. And if at any time you notice that your thoughts have started to wander, that's okay. Awareness is maybe the most important part. Hey, you noticed it. Now let's bring our focus back to the breath. If it helps, you can even place one hand on your chest here to really feel the sensation, that up and down movement as you draw the breath in and let it out. our root chakra, also known as our Muladhara chakra. When we can tune in and really ground down and try to resonate with the frequency of the earth below us, that can help to restore our balance and bring us stability. A few more breaths here. And again, if your mind has wandered, that's okay. Come back. Sit up a little taller. Find somewhere to soften. You can gently open your eyes. If you had something underneath you, you can remove it here. What we're going to do is we're going to straighten our legs here. We're going to move into some shapes. And the first time through, we're going to pause and notice how we feel in each shape. And then we'll move to connecting our movement and our breath, our asana and our pranayama. So again, our focus is the root chakra, so let's pay attention there. Maybe you need to move some flesh away to really have your sits bones feel grounded. And then I've got my toes pointed up at the ceiling. Now, if you feel tight on the back of your leg, always freedom to keep a nice bend in your knees here. We're going to inhale, reaching our arms up toward the sky. So fingertips reaching up, tailbone dropping down. And then exhale, we're going to gently fold forward here. So we're not forcing anything in this pose. We are curious of how it feels today in the bodies that we brought to class. But we're not forcing it. We're just observing the sensations. And again, think of your energy forces here. Think of energy, sending energy down through your bottom, through anywhere that's touching the earth right now. And sometimes I like to visualize as if roots are growing down out of me, rooting me into the earth, keeping me safe and stable and supported. Because when we're grounded, we are safe, stable, and supported, and we can notice it. Gently tuck your chin. Maybe your hands are on top of your shins or next to your calves. And now my right hand is going to reach for the outside of my left foot with a gentle twist here. And if that's feeling too intense, you can always have your right hand grabbing for the outside of your left calf. What we're going to do is on an inhale, we're going to straighten up through the spine, lift the left leg, toes to the ceiling, and maybe your left arm reaches behind you. A gentle spinal twist. Remember, you can keep that bend in your left knee. You can have a neutral neck, or maybe your gaze goes behind you. And if your left bum feels like it started to rock up, see if you can root down equally through your glutes. Again, we have a stable base here. Then we'll return with an exhale to this seated forward fold. This time, your left hand will reach for either the outside of your right foot or maybe the outside of your right leg. And we'll straighten up on an inhale. So again, soft elbows here. We don't want to lock out our joints. Soft knees. And if this is feeling too intense, you can drop the leg and take the twist. Just want to feel some sensation of spinal rotation while still rooting down. exhale will bring us back to center. And we'll do that again. We're going to pair our movement and breath here. So always the freedom to move at your own pace, moving with your breath. And if you want to pause at any certain shape because it feels good to linger, freedom to do so. So inhale, arms reach up. Maybe your gaze follows. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, right hand, left foot. Let's twist. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, opposite side. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's sit up straight. Reset, gather our energy. Exhale, soften forward. Let's do it one more time. Right hand reaches for left foot. Inhale, we twist. Expand through your chest. Exhale to fold. Inhale, twist the opposite way. Exhale to fold. And we'll take one more in the center. So inhale, again, reaching up, gather that energy. Exhale, we soften. We'll stay for just a few breaths. Maybe you notice that you can move a little bit deeper into your fold here after having moved around a few times. And come back to this moment here. Notice where you're feeling it. Is it the back of your legs? Is it your low back? Can you unclench your jaw? Find somewhere to soften. And we'll sit up and we're going to come into a tabletop. This is an all fours position. And we're going to think about stacking here. So my shoulder is stacked over my elbow, is stacked over my wrist. My hips are stacked over my knees. I'm going to keep my feet flexed. And on an inhale, your belly will drop. Bring your shoulder blades together as you broaden through your collarbone. Maybe gaze goes up. And then exhale, round the back. Send that energy from your tailbone to the earth. Press into your fingers. We'll move through that a few times. Inhaling to cow pose. Exhaling to cat. I like to imagine that tension. If I'm feeling any tension in my shoulders or my neck, just letting it pour off my shoulders as I'm rounding my back here, releasing it. If you've got a feeling, an experience that's not serving you right now, on your next exhale, let it go. One more time. Come back to this neutral spine here, and we're going to step up into a low lunge. So I'm going to bring my right foot in between my hands here. Now, if you need a little bit more stability, you might bring your blocks in on either side of your foot. So you can raise your chest a bit. You might need some padding, maybe a rolled up washcloth, or you roll up the end of your mat here underneath your knee. But we're going to think about really sinking our hips towards the earth. Noticing everywhere, every part of your body that's touching the earth. Feeling that energetic connection. Continue to breathe. Then on your next exhale, we're going to press our bum back towards our heels, coming into this half splits here. Now, I've uncurled my toes, my bum is on my foot. You have the option to keep your bum lifted here. We want to feel sensation in the back of our right leg. So you can take the level that works for you. And again, maybe you're up here and you've drawn your blocks back. Gently press your right heel into the earth. Notice if the sensation intensifies slightly. You've got that neutral gaze down at your mat. 3 more breaths here. Take a notice of how you feel. We're going to shift our hips forward again, back into this low lunge, and this time we're going to add a twist. So again, maybe your hands have found your blocks here. That's always an option. Maybe your hands have found your mat. You're still keeping soft elbows. Left hand will stay down as your right hand will spin up and open. Still think about sinking your hips down towards the earth. Really energize even through your fingertips here. And maybe your gaze goes up at your right hand. 2 more breaths. We'll come back to tabletop. And we'll do those 3 shapes on the opposite side. So reset from tabletop, always the option to take a few cat-cows, kind of flush it out. And then we're going to step our left foot forward, big step forward, core engaged. And I'm going to bring my blocks in today. Again, it's a reminder of support and stability. Sometimes we need that reminder in our life. I know I do. That there is support there. That it's okay to have support from others and to have help when you need it. Visualize your hips sinking down towards the earth. Energetically squeeze your legs together here, even though they're not touching. Draw them in towards your midline. Feel that activation. Again, relax through your face. Maybe you need to loosen up your jaw. And continue to breathe. And we're going to press it back to find a hamstring stretch that works for you. Maybe you're sending your bum all the way to your heel for a half split. Maybe you're keeping it up and elevated. I'm keeping my spine nice and long and straight. Really trying to have that hinge happen at my hips. Feeling sensation in my low back and my left hamstring. What about you? Stay in the moment. Notice your breath. Notice if this side feels different than the other side. And we'll shift our weight forward again. And this time we're going to come into a twist. So I'm going to ground my right hand down into my block. And this time, twisting open left arm, left fingertips to the sky. Pull your belly button up and in here. Core is engaged. And reminder, if your knees are bugging, you can always curl your back toe and elevate your knee off your mat. It's a little bit more muscular. You can also bring in, sometimes that folded up washcloth is nice as a comfort point underneath the knees. Two more breaths here. Back to tabletop. Move the blocks if you had them. move through some cat-cows, or if another type of organic movement is calling to you. Gentle rotations, one direction and then the other. Mindful of your wrists and not shooting your shoulders too far out over your wrists here. Do what feels right for you. An option to send your bum back towards your heels with feet flexed and feel a nice stretch here through your foot and your toes. When we are walking, it's our feet that are grounding us, right? Or if we're standing. But it's often a body part that we don't think about unless there's an issue. So let's release, and then if you want, you can reset and sit back here. And we'll come back to our tabletop, and this time I'm going to extend my right leg behind me. And then you'll see the same motion. I'm going to draw my right heel back towards the back of my mat. So now we're stretching our foot and also our calf. And so I've got some gentle pressure back and forth. If you want to just hold in a static position, freedom to do so. And we'll come back to tabletop for just a moment. Switch legs. Enjoy this nice stretch in your calf. Try to relax through your shoulders and neck. And then from tabletop, we're going to come into downward facing dog. I'm going to come into a high plank here. Again, shoulders over wrist. Breath in, and on an exhale, sending your hips back towards the back of the room, making this upside down V shape with your body, pulling your belly up and in, heels reaching towards the earth, knees bent, pressing into your fingers. And maybe you walk your dog. One more nice calf stretch here. And if your wrists are tender, shoulders are tender, you can stay in your tabletop. You don't have to come into down dog. From here, we're going to step our right foot up between our hands, and we're going to come into warrior two. So my right knee is over my right ankle. My left toes are facing the long edge of the mat here. Draw your right knee towards the right side of your mat. Feel an opening in the front of your hips. We'll send our arms, one reaching in front, one behind. Really squeeze your shoulder blades together here. Feel a broadening through your collarbone. And as you're imagining the front of your hips opening, imagine your tailbone dropping straight down to the earth. Press in to the four corners of both feet. Continue to breathe. Gaze over your front middle finger. And on an inhale, you're going to flip your right hand palm up and reach up over your head. Peaceful warrior. Your left hand can run down your left leg. Just don't push onto your knee here. So maybe it's resting on your thigh. Or maybe it's reaching around towards the front crease of your right thigh, a little half bind. So I'm reaching behind me, fingers energized. I'm also twisting, chest open towards the sky. And now we'll straighten our front leg and we'll come into triangle pose. So our feet will stay the same. Arms out at a T. And this time, stay with me. We're going to reach towards the front of our mat until we can't reach anymore. Then right hand will drop towards right calf as left hand reaches up. Another excellent place for a block. I like to actually place my block on the outside of my right foot. Like it allows me to torque a little bit more, twist a little deeper. Now imagine if your left hip is starting to dump towards the mat. Peel it open here. And maybe your gaze is just neutrally in front of you. Maybe you're looking up at the ceiling. Really press down through your feet here. Again, if you were a plant, there are roots growing from your feet into the earth, bringing you stability and support. Now, engage your core. We're going to lift back up. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So both feet are going to face the long edge of your mat. We'll inhale and reach our arms up to the sky, and then exhale, we fold forward. Now, again, you can use your block here if you want to bring your mat closer to your hands. Maybe you can rest your forearms on your block. Maybe they won't reach the mat, but the block brings the mat closer to you. So it's another way you can find support. Let the crown of your head hang heavy here. Our hips are above our heart, which is above our head. So we're reaping the benefits of an inversion while keeping our feet on the floor. Option to bring your hands to your hips. We're going to rise up. So again, core engaged. And now we're going to take those shapes facing the back of our mat. So left foot, toes will point forward. Bend into your left knee. My right foot is staying where it's at, facing the long edge of my mat. And I'm going to open my arms to warrior two. So remember, think of our same alignment cues here. This time our left knee is pulling towards the left edge of our mat to help to open up our hip. Shoulder blades pulled together here. Energy through the fingertips. Soften your face. Feel that warrior strength. Grounded, stable, balanced. And then we'll move into our peaceful warrior, flipping that front palm, reaching up and over, feeling a lovely side body stretch. And if this becomes too intense for your legs, always the option is straighten your front leg. Remember, find a spot for your right hand. It's not putting any pressure on your back knee. Still pressing down through your feet. Notice your leg muscles feel activated when you intentionally press down through your feet. And then we'll come into triangle pose. Front leg straightens. Ooh, some relief. Hands out. Reach with your left arm, lengthening both sides of your body. And then taking the triangle shape. Hinging at your left hip. Maybe you're reaching for that block. Keep a soft bend in both of your legs here. We don't want to lock out our joints. Breathe. Two more breaths here. We'll rise up. We're going to make our way onto our backs. So we'll come to a seated pose here. Make sure your block is handy. I'm going to grab it from the back of my knees and slowly roll down. And if you want to take a second and hug your knees into your chest here. A nice little spinal massage on your mat. We're going to come into a supported bridge. So, If you would like to take just a typical bridge pose, then freedom to do so. But today I would like to lean into the support of my block. So you're going to bring your heels a little closer to your bum, between 6 and 12 inches away. You're going to press your feet into your mat here. Really notice that connection. Back of your head gently pressing into your mat. Then on an inhale, you're going to reach your hips up towards the sky. And again, you've got this option here. If you want to place your block, I've got it on the medium length, right near your sacrum. Right near this collection of nerves, situated near our root chakra. And if you're taking this more restorative or supported bridge pose, see if you can draw your shoulder blades together and relax your fingers. You're still pressing into your feet, still pressing gently into the back of your head to release through your throat and neck. Notice how you feel. Three more breaths here. Press into your feet. Lift your hips slightly to remove the block. We're going to come into happy baby pose. You're going to bend your knees, bringing them towards your armpit. You're going to reach for the outsides of your feet. Now, what I see a lot of times in class is we're so eager to get our knees near our armpits that our bum lifts right up off the mat. But remember, we're focusing on our root chakra. So what we actually want to do is put our focus on our tailbone area and see if we can keep that connected to the mat. So instead of cranking up like this, we're actually letting our whole spine press down into the mat nice and long. And once we've got that tailbone mat connection, then we can start to pull down on our feet. See if you're holding on to tension anywhere. Where can you soften? It feels good to add a sway right and left. Freedom to do so. Again, notice you're not sinking down through the earth, right? You're supported. You're held up. And then knees into chest. We'll come in one more supported pose, which is waterfall. So I'm going to, similar to our supportive bridge, I'm going to lift my bum up and I'm going to place my block on its lowest sitting. Cross the sacrum there. And I'm going to bring my feet to the sky. If you don't have a block, that's okay. Actually make it a triangle shape with your hands and just sit on those in a comfortable way, just to slightly elevate your hips. Toes are flexed here. And we're just allowing all that blood and energy that's moved out to our limbs to move back to our core, to restore and replenish. Bring your feet back to your mat. Remove the block if you had one. And we'll give ourselves one more squeeze here. If there was a shape that was really calling to you today, freedom to take that now. When you're ready, we'll come into Shavasana. Take up space on your mat. Feel your spine connected along the length of your mat. Let your heels be out toward the edges of your mat. Let your feet fall to the sides of the room. Thumbs pointing out away from you, palms up. And again, I want you to feel supported. Feel that exchange of energy from your body into the earth. Feel the earth supporting you. And once you've acknowledged that support, then you can rest. Slowly begin to move your fingers and your toes. Bring energy back into your body. Maybe you rotate your wrists and your ankles. You can reach both arms up over your head for a good morning stretch. And then roll onto your right or left side, slowly and gently. And pause here for a moment. You can place one hand on your heart and feel gratitude to yourself for showing up today. Then you can meet me in an easy seated pose on your mat, just like how we started class. Notice the base of your spine, that root chakra. Know that that is a symbol and a sign of our connection to the world. And if we can restore balance with that, we can increase our feelings of stability and support and feeling safe. So bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, heart center. Thank you so much, yogis, for sharing your practice with me today. May you be well. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in class today.